What's up, everyone? It's Jed here with Hunt Mobile Welding, and today we have a thermite weld for a customer. It's one 15-pound rail. They just need one thermite shot. So we got out here this morning real early. I tried to record it. My phone must have dropped the service here. I wasn't able to record it or something. Yeah, so they wanted one thermite done, and we got it all lined out here. We got the kit on. We got the charge set. Next thing we got to do is pack the sand in, and then we can preheat and we can drop this weld here. So let's get started here and see how it goes.
Alrighty, everyone. I'm going to do a voiceover here and talk about how we set up and shoot these thermite welds. With that, sorry about the way the video is set up. I didn't really have a place for my phone, so it got put in my tool bucket. But with that, as you can see, I'm using my straight edge to make sure everything's lined straight. And then I am using the lining plates there. There's 4 jacks, one on each side of the rail, and then there's one on the other rail as well. Depending on how you turn those screws, it'll twist the rail or it'll raise it up. And then use your straight edge. Make sure there's no gap in the web. You measure 3 spots: the web, the base, and the ball of the rail. As you see on the top, I have a magnetic straight edge. It just does the same thing. It makes sure there's no gap, and the rail is actually lined flat across. You're supposed to have an inch gap between both the rails, and it really makes it easier when the rail is actually in place. This is off track, so the rail isn't bolted down, or it's not spiked down. There's no anchors or anything, so it's free roaming rail, and it was really hard to use these lining plates. A little bit here, I will actually switch out to use my wedges because it made it's just so difficult because the lining plates would actually move the entire rail. But yeah, so the first portion of getting the thermite welds lined out is lining everything and making sure everything's straight. There's no twists in the rail or anything like that. I was having a hell of a time, and then doing thermite welds by yourself is really, really difficult because then you end up doing everything all by yourself. Normally it's a 2-person crew. That's the guy that I was doing the thermite weld there. He showed up, and I was just like, man, I can't use these plates. I got to get my wedges out because it was just, I had everything maxed out, and I just could not get it to stay where I wanted it to. And as you guys see here, I got my wedges in place. I end up putting in quite a bit more wedges. Alrighty, yeah. So once I get these wedges in place, you start seeing that I get the rail in a position that I really like. Using that straight edge, it's just a fine refining process. Being able to get the levels that you want, making sure everything's straight. There's no gaps, there's no twists, there's no kink in the rail or anything like that in your where you're gonna have your weld. It just takes a lot of time, and I know there's a lot of people think that the welding process should be fast, but I would say it'd probably take 2 guys a minimum of an hour to do a weld. I know on the railroads you could probably knock them out in 45 minutes. That's if you're not stretching or pulling on the rail at all. Lining this by yourself really sucks. It took me about 2 hours total to do this. Weld, lining, setting up the weld, and grinding all by myself. I was a miserable person after this, I can tell you that much. I like to have a helper with me, and I like to train someone to help me do this. But they were busy this day, and this guy just needed this one done, so I figured, I was like, I'll give it a shot by myself. And yeah. Alrighty, right here you can see, guys, we're setting up something that we call the octopus. There's some other terms that railroaders use for it, but you get your gap there with the little gauge that you see on the left rail there. That's so you get your proper distance for your torch and your proper height. The octopus holds the molds up. That holds the molds in place while it's being shot, so the mold doesn't just fall apart. These are the actual molds. They're just designed to a certain specification, and they don't always fit worn out rail. So I know when you go to the classes and stuff, they tell you not to rub, but to get a good, nice, tight fit, a little bit of rubbing's all right. You rub it so it gets really nice and tight against the rail there. You lose all the gaps, and then everything is really nice and tight. Normally, you'd have the other person hold this side while you rub them against each other, and then it removes all the when they make them. There's some little defects on the outsides. Rub them together a little bit. Normally, the other person would hold it, but I have to use the octopus to do that. A little bit of filing, and then once they get fit up into place together, something that I like, they look nice. I put the mold on, and then the next step is to pack it with toilet paper. All the fine little gaps that you can't get, I like to pack with just a little bit of TP, and that stops any blowouts from happening. Knock on wood. I haven't had any major blowouts yet. There have been a couple close calls, but yeah. So we got both of the molds set in place there, and now we will be getting the sand ready and the TP ready. Alrighty, everyone. As you see here, it doesn't take much toilet paper. It takes well, I guess if you're using single ply or double ply, but I only use maybe 2 or 3 sheets total. You just rip a little piece off, roll it between your hands, like you're warming your hands up, and then when you shove it in, there's just real tiny gaps. You shove it in there, and then you poke it in with a tiny flat tip screwdriver, as you see there in my hand. Besides that, we will get rolling here, and I will be back with you when I start packing the sand in. Alrighty. So the packing sand you have, it's kind of like play sand. There's some chemicals in it that make it harden. It really dries your hands out. So I'm wearing specialty gloves here. But there's a lip on the underside. You pack that in first, and then there's a ridge and a lip around the whole outside of the mold there, and you just slowly work your way from the bottom to the top. And this would take about half the time again with two people, because you'd get both people working from each side up. But because I'm here by myself, I have to do it, alone. So as you see, I pack some in on the top, pack it all the way up. I lay a little bit more over on the rail, on the top, on the ball. Yeah, I lay a little bit more over on the ball there, just because if I do have a little bit of an overflow or a leak or anything like that, it'll pour out onto the ball, and then it'll actually hit that sand and roll off, and it won't fuck up or screw up the ball of the rail, and I won't have to deal with that. So with that, I am just about done packing the sand here, and then I will put the pans on, the overflow pans. The process itself is actually pretty straightforward. There's a bunch of times that you have to know to do the preheat, and it's all dependent on the size of the rail, and there's two different types of kits. There's Boutte, and then there's Orgotherm. And we don't use the Boutte very often. We did one in class. Besides that, I haven't really ever done any of them. There's 3 pieces to them instead of 2 pieces like this one. So then, yep, it just packed the sand all the way up. You only have so long between packing this sand and opening the sand kit to start your preheat. So the process goes pretty fast after this. There I put a little bit of sand in the bottom of the pans so my pans don't wear out as fast, because that molten metal will you'll start to get divots in your pans. So a little bit of sand on the bottom keeps it from burning up.
So if you didn't know, you pack the sand in, and that hardens a little bit and keeps all the molten metal in there. And then we preheat for the specific size rail, which would be 115. Is going to be like 5 to 6 minutes. And then we remove the crucible, and then the slag pans and the molds and everything. And then we use this, the demolder, and then, or the shear, and then we demold everything.
Alrighty, yeah, like I just said there in the video, we will start our preheat here, and it'll be about 5 to 6 minutes of preheat, and then we can start putting the crucible on, and go from there. If you can see there, I'm just looking down into the molds. I just wanted to make sure that my torch is adjusted correctly. There's a little look-see down inside of the crucible, what I'm looking at when I peek over the top there. You're just looking to make sure that you're not, you're not heating one side more than the other. You want to even preheat, and that you're not melting the rail. Because it's very, very possible with a small rail, if you have it tilted one way or the other, you'll actually blow out and melt the one rail, and you definitely don't want that. If that happens, you got to tear everything down, cut more sections of the rail out, pull it back if it's on track, pull it in. In this case, it would be, push the rail in. And then it's just a horrible thing to do. Try not to do it. I've only ever seen it ever happen in class, not on the track. Usually the guys that are out on the tracks are really experienced with this stuff. This is got to be my least favorite welding process. I tried to learn TIG, which I don't mind. This is just a miserable process. It's super hot. There's a lot of numbers, there's times involved, and when you mess up, it's a big mess up. You got to start over. It's just a lot. I like working with railroads, rods, and switches, but I do thermite, but it's not my favorite process. Alrighty, everyone. So sorry, I'm gonna be a tease about this. I did not capture the actual dropping of the thermite. My phone overheated, and I moved the phone into the shade, and I got it just as my time was up of removing the crucible. And hopefully I'll get it the next time. I know that's the best part, and I know that's what everyone wants, and I'm sorry I missed it. But we can get the rest of it here. So it's all a timed game now. So, you know, you wait so long, you take the crucible off. You wait so long, you take the slag pans off, and then you can remove the octopus. And then after that, you wait so long, and you can take the molds off, and then you shear. And that's what's happening right now. I do have it at double speed here. It's probably a little loud in the background. I got my hydraulic unit working. Knock all the extra sand off so you don't get any... you knock it off so when the shear runs in, you don't get any sand pulled in with it, and then it'll rip the weld. It's rare, but I have seen it happen. So then knock all the sand off. Checking the phone here to make sure I'm not overheating again. Cracking it, make sure everything's good, and I can take it off. Take the big top off. Move the shear over. Run the hydraulic unit. I had to adjust it a little bit. I had it pre-adjusted, but it's never quite right, you know, until you actually get it onto the weld there. Running it in. Right now I'm just waiting on my timeout, so, you know, you have to wait a certain amount of time before you can shear. I hit that point. Call them worms. When you start seeing the little black worms inside the weld metal, you can shear it. It's all sheared off. Knock the risers off. Knock that top portion off that I sheared. Took a good beating to get it off. Knock the risers down. The risers stay on until after I'm done doing my my initial grinding here. So you knock them flat down. Knock a little bit off of there, and then I have to switch over from the shear on my my power unit. I have to switch from the shear over to the grinder. Alrighty, got the hydraulics all switched over, and got the grinder started, and I can start rearing away here at the top of the new weld. Really cranking down on her. This is kind of a boring part, so I speed it up a little bit. Just slowly working our way at the top of the weld, and then you work your way down onto the sides. On the ball of the rail, you get it close to the profile of the rail, and then you can switch over to your candy cane grinder, and then you get the web and the base of the rail. Just checking everything as you go. That's really it, and you flip your sides around and do the other side. Man, this is a tough thing to do, is getting this all by yourself, because you know I had to jump up in the back of the truck, switch over the hydraulic hoses. Then I had to switch over the hoses on the grinder from the shear, and then switch over to the next grinder. And it's just a lot for one guy to do. And man, I was so burnt out after this. Went home and took a nap. I didn't do much else the rest of the day. Yeah, but other than that, it went pretty well. And I'll let you guys watch the rest of the video here.
All right, everyone. The completed weld. now all I gotta do is pick up all my shit and go home.